remember Nikki as a boldly creative classmate.
Nikki was one of a kind.
She was friendly, energetic, and caring.
A strong writer.
A fantastic imagination.
Happy and kind.
She was always so much fun to be around.
Strong and confident.
She actually was our own little superhero in first grade.
Lincoln Park was kind of a special place because it was a small school kind of plopped down right in the middle of this awesome neighborhood. Everyone kind of knew each other. Everyone knew each other's families. It was definitely a supported community neighborhood school. And when we heard news of Nikki's passing, I tried to think of something that would involve, because she was such a part of the whole school, because that's just who this school was. What could we do to bring together the spirit of who Nikki was and the legacy that she left behind for us? And so in conjunction with Bob Chappell up at the high school, we put together this really cool thing where we took Nikki's drawings, because she was so creative, and she was really into superheroes.
But back in 2004, my friend and colleague and then principal at Lincoln Park Elementary School, Dina Wart, asked me about this idea she had to creating a mural in remembrance of Nikki Overman. Of course, I jumped at the idea. Our teachers love to do things like that. And the timing was right. I had awesome art students who were really into superheroes, such as Joe Palumbo, Ben Sweeney, Matt Levy. So the three of them and I met with students. I gave them the responsibility of figuring it out. They looked at Nikki's work. They, of course, knew how to draw all of the superheroes. So it was easy for them. Ben Sweeney designed Super Nikki, who would be at the center of this so-called mural, a mural that was on macadam.
When I was a senior in high school, I remember Mr. Chappell asking if I'd like to create a superhero mural, and I remember being really excited about it. After talking with Nikki's class, the responsibility of the project really set in. Ben Sweeney, Matt Levy, and myself wanted to create something really special to honor Nikki.
I remember the day that they came in and announced to us that they wanted to do a mural for Nikki. And I remember them, us kind of giving ideas and figuring out what superheroes we were going to pick. And I remember when they presented kind of like the draft of what Nikki was going to look like. And I just remember everything just feeling right. I think in a time when not knowing how to process it, not knowing what to do or how to grieve, it just felt like it made sense. And I feel like that the painting of Nikki just embodied her so well.
What made Nikki? Nikki was one of a kind. She was sugar, spice, and everything nice. She was our very own little G.I. Jane. Nikki loved camouflage. She loved her cat Ping. She loved G.I. Joes and playing Army Man. She loved rolling in the mud and any other tomboy activities. She loved superheroes and painting her own superheroes, creating her own superheroes, many of which ended up on the mural.
In my 32 years of teaching memories, Nikki was definitely a student who I have such good memories of. And I remember her just being a very strong little girl who stood up for herself and others and always tried to do the right thing, even, which is hard to do, even as an 8 or 9 year old, her good sense of humor and her strong character really shone through. And I would oftentimes think how fortunate her friends were to have such a good friend like Nikki, who would have their backs and stand up for them if the need arose, if they needed her. And in that sense, she truly was a real life superhero. And that can be hard, to save the world one third grade classroom at a time. But we could all count on her and her kindness and her positivity to make our classroom community a caring and safe place to learn and to grow together.
Nikki was one of my best friends. I remember setting up armies of G.I. Joes with her, and she was always fully outfit in camo. We'd ride bikes and play at the playground. She was always so much fun to be around.
But I still remember her coming into the classroom in her camo outfit. She loved camo. And I also remember that she was a friend to everyone in first grade. She always said a kind word to someone who needed it.
Her and I loved the Backstreet Boys together. Pickles, I remember she loved pickles. And I still just remember just running around and playing with her and just having a blast every time I was with her. She always just had this unique energy about her. And I will say, I just feel like it didn't matter who you were. Like, it could be like, you could be the girliest girl who loved pink and sparkles on everything, but you always wanted to be Nikki's friend. You know, she just had that presence about her that just made her just somebody that everybody wanted to be around.
I was fortunate to have Michael, Kristen, and Nikki in my class. Michael wrote about his pet iguana, Iggy, and Kristen enjoyed penguins. Thoughts of Nikki bring a gentle smile of a second grader wearing camouflage as powerful as a superhero. Nikki, a strong writer, shared a story about Patrick calling her on the phone and asking her if she would like to go on a trip with him and his mom and dad to West Virginia. The expressions in her writing noted how Kristen and Mike are not coming, just me. In the detailed story, Nikki and Patrick took their G.I. Joes on a trail, past quicksand, over the river, and looked down to the lake.
The one thing that I really hold close to me is the opportunity to share many lunches with Nikki. She would ask if she could come and have lunch with me. I said yes. At first it was once a week with Nikki, myself, and one other student. By the end of the year, we were meeting and eating lunch together 3 or 4 times a week. And sometimes the group grew to as many as 10 to 12. She always invited others to join us. She just didn't want anybody feeling hurt or left out. Her justification was everybody should have a chance to participate. She cared about her friends, and she wanted them to be happy. We laughed at jokes, riddles, and knock-knock jokes. Sometimes we even did yoga. It was her topic to pick, and we ran with it. These are the greatest and most valuable memories I have of Nikki. I got to know her as a person, as an individual, and as a student. She will always remain close to my heart.
Nikki was one of those kids that got along with everyone. She was outgoing. She was full of energy. She loved being outside. In fact, I'm pretty sure that besides art, one of her favorite classes was recess. I remember her having a fantastic imagination, which came across in her writing and most definitely in her artwork and her drawings.
The day the original mural had started, everyone was excited and anxious to see what it was going to look like. I would watch out my classroom window, which was right above the playground where it was being painted. I watched the progress. I watched the superhero designs coming together, especially the one of superhero Nikki in the middle, watching over us with her big, contagious smile.
So we got moving with this, and I have to say, the Wilson School District always let me do whatever I wanted to do whenever it involved students, doing things in the community, anything that is good for the school and good for the students. So we traveled to Lincoln Park, got busy with this, drawing it on the playground. And it was funny because we could see the staff, the kids looking out the windows at us as we were working on the playground. And of course, it was only a matter of time until they could be involved, and they were. They were there just eager and excited, as were my 3 students and me. We would just love doing it.
Painting the original mural was really a sign that we'll never forget Nikki. It was our testament to the world that she held a special place in our heart, one that should never be forgotten. It meant a lot to me because it felt like we were remembering my best friend, somebody that I loved and cared for. Felt like her memory would never go away.
Painting the original mural with Nikki's class was an amazing experience. The whole class was excited and very driven to create a mural in honor of their friend. Some of the colors we used, mostly on Nikki's camo, didn't come straight out of a paint can. Throughout the whole project, we taught Nikki's class some basic color mixing and painting techniques.
Over a week or 2 or so, we were making progress. Everyone was happy. Word was spreading about what we were doing. I contacted the Reading Eagle. Of course, they sent someone out. We had the unveiling, a major event, a wonderful event. Young kids are always excited and enthusiastic, and this was like icing on the cake. And I have the article here as a remembrance of that event. It was probably one of the best things that I have ever done as an art teacher in regard to a community relations project.
The dedication day was a real life-changing moment for me. The whole school was there, including the Lincoln Park community. There wasn't a dry eye in the house, and as I looked around, I realized we helped the community heal. Art heals. This was the first time I experienced it on such a large scale, and it is powerful.
Honestly, I don't know if it's just because I was young, but I unfortunately don't really remember that much about the dedication day. But a memory that I do remember very vividly was actually the spring concert and us singing the song for Nikki that Mrs. Sands wrote. And I'm pretty sure I probably had the same feeling both days of just wanting to show you guys, Nikki's parents and family, just how much we cared, how much she wasn't going to be forgotten, and just how much she meant to us.
I'm so glad to be a part of keeping Nikki's memory alive. I would often go down to the park and see the faded mural and think I would love to repaint that someday. So I was so happy when I found out that Tyler was having the same thoughts. We put it into action and were able to repaint her as the superhero she is.
I received a message from a former student telling me that a young man named Tyler Mogul and a couple of his friends were repainting a badly faded mural. And I told them at that point, if they needed any supplies, let me know, and I would make sure they got the supplies.
After me and Zach did the original, repainted that, and seeing the outpouring from her family, I knew I had to do more. I knew I couldn't stop there. I had to give them more, because they deserve it. She deserved it. It's one of the reasons that I'm taking on this project, and with the help of many others, to make sure that her memory never fades.
As you know, the playground was being destroyed because that property was sold. But they were also able to work with not only Joe Palumbo, but also Scott Graber at the high school. They came up with the idea of creating 2 paintings of that original mural.
I designed the recreation using the few photos we had of the original mural. Smartphones weren't really a thing back then. The original was done inside of a dodgeball circle, so we kept the same circular shape for the recreation. Nikki's pose remained the same, and some of the superhero poses changed. There's 2 mural recreations on a 30 by 30 canvas, the same layout for both. One was gifted to the Overman family, and the other is on permanent display in the Wilson School District. For the Overman recreation, I painted the background texture and outlined the superheroes. Then, Nikki's classmates painted all of the color work. The Wilson recreation is done entirely by me. Both recreations were presented in surprise to the Overman family at the annual Wilson High School Art Show on May 4th, 2022, 18 years after we created the original mural.
What does the mural mean? Well, I think it has a lot of purpose. It's a place to go to remember Nikki, to mourn her loss. It was a place to go to celebrate her memories and her life, to share memories of her with her friends, other children, and people of the community that didn't really know Nikki. It was a place of grief that turned into a place of comfort.
Now I'm honored to be a part of this even larger remembrance of Nikki, and I'm glad we're able to continue this memorial for her family. She hasn't left my memory, and she never will.
And I want you to know how fortunate I feel to have had Nikki in first grade at Lincoln Park all those years ago.
Each year, as I hang a special homemade Christmas ornament from the Overmans on my tree, I remember the warmth of Nikki and the Overman family.
I'm reminded of her often because sitting front and center on my desk at school is the nameplate that she gave me when she was in my class.
I saved this page from the Reading Eagle from May 20th, 2004. And even though I remember it well, I saved it because I just always wanted to be able to look at that image of Nikki and remember her and remember to be kind and have courage and to be strong, even when it's hard, just like Nikki did. So, Overmans, it was wonderful connecting with you after all these years, and I hope you are well, and I celebrate Nikki with you.
Nikki taught me that one person could change the world. She taught me to be tough, to go your own path. She taught me to love unconditionally. She inspired me to lead Marines and do what I'm doing today. I'm certain that had things been different, she'd be sitting in the room right beside me now.
She was just such a unique person and so cool that she's always going to have an impact on my life and somebody who I hold really near and dear in my heart. And I love you guys, and I hope you're doing well, and I hope that this video finds you well and that it is an enjoyment to you. And once again, just shows how much she has just impacted people's lives.
I'll never forget the experience of working on the Super Nikki mural. I carry that experience with me as a reminder of how fortunate I am to work as an artist. It saddens me that Nikki never had the opportunity to pursue her artistic passions. Her story inspires me to keep pushing. I'd like to thank everyone for helping with the original and the recreation project, and I send my best wishes to the Overman family.
Best wishes to all the family, and many thanks to all who have been involved in this wonderful project yet again. Thank you.
Nikki once said to me, "There is something every day to make you happy and smile, even on the bad days." That was Nikki Overman, a kind, gentle, caring, loving person.
I know I keep saying it, and it's such a, I feel like there should be a better word, but she was just, truly was one of the coolest people I have ever met, and if my kids are anything like her, I will be so honored.